Hi, everybody, and thank you so much for joining tonight. I woke up this morning and thought to myself that I wanted to post a video or actually post a saying about the weather and about extreme temperature and about sickle cell crises. And wasn't planning on being here tonight, but I've been seeing a few kids that I know who's taking even flow, and thought it was very important to come and make this video so everybody can understand what's going on and understand about the flu and cold season, understand about just how to keep healthy, how to keep your kids healthy, how to keep you healthy during the flu and cold season living with sickle cell. So we're going to give it a few more minutes and let a few more people join. But I hope everybody has had a great holiday and Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Things are going to be changing for me and my family as well. We're going to be moving to the Pacific Northwest, which is an extreme change for us because we've never really lived in cold temperatures or cold climate. But I'm looking forward to the move, and I know it rains a lot. I know it's colder. Actually, it's colder here in Texas than it is in Seattle right now. But there's lots of rain, and I heard it's very beautiful. But with God's medicine cabinet and modifying a few things, I'm sure things will be just fine with Aiden. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I made some notes. I did take down all the questions because I know people posted questions and they wanted me to address, and I have all the questions here. But first of all, before I get into the questions, I want people to understand during the flu and cold season, first understand why it's called the flu and cold season, because just think about it. Millions and millions of kids go out, well, not the kids, but the parents, take the kids and they get flu shots, right? And we already know that when you take a flu shot, you can get sick. And I'm sure you know people who has gotten the flu shot and a day or two later, they were sick. So what happens is majority of, or a great number of these kids get sick. For example, my kid's school. The school almost shut down because like half the school were sick a couple weeks ago, right before Christmas break. My son's class, 30 kids were out. I mean, so that was like maybe, one or two kids in the class. Half the teachers were out. So we have to think about, in these times, we need to really ramp up, not on even flow, but really ramp up on natural antibiotics. And I think that's where we're actually missing that point. We need to start taking more of natural antibiotics, maybe 3 or 4 times in a day. And I'll go through all that and I'll explain all that. Not taking even flow every hour, every 2 hours, because you really want to address the infection part of it. You want to keep your immune system strong. The even flow is going to do what it's supposed to do. It's going to keep making the body, helping the body produce red blood cells. But when you neglect your immune system, that's when you can get sick. And once you get an infection, it can throw you into a crisis. So talking about antibiotics, probiotics, and your immune system. All the kids with sickle cell, including mine 10 years ago, every time he would go in for a crisis, he gets antibiotics, right? Antibiotics rips all the good bacteria out of the gut. And this is dangerous. This is why when my kid get a cold or get a fever, I don't take him to the doctor. Now, I'm not telling you this to tell you not to take your child to the doctor, but I'm just telling you this for educational purposes. Because going to the doctor is going to do what? Nothing. Because they're going to give antibiotics. And antibiotics does not treat viral infections. Does not. will not, and has never. So pretty much you're going to go to the doctor, you're going to sit there, they're going to give antibiotics, and the viral infection is going to just run its course. When I know I can keep my kid at home and give natural antibiotics every hour or every 30 minutes and get him better in a day or two. So, when antibiotics rips all the good bacteria out of the gut, the reason why this is dangerous, and not only for sickle cell kids, but for adults, for people that doesn't have sickle cell, your gut health is so important. If you don't have any good bacteria in your gut, that is dangerous. Your gut makes up 80% of your immune system. And you hear people say sickness starts in the gut. Well, that's true. So no good bacteria in your gut leads for a very weak immune system. Think of all the kids who's taken penicillin for the first 5 years of their lives. All the kids go in and out of the hospital with crises and getting antibiotics. These kids' gut health is gone. It's destroyed. They have no immune system whatsoever. So if you're in a situation like this, you need to get your child probiotics ASAP. And I'm not talking about 2 billion and 3 billion and yogurt. I'm not talking about that. You need to be getting 30 billion, 40 billion. You know, I give my kids a lot of times 40 billion a day. If they're sick, I'll give them 100 billion. They can take trillions. So I know that we have a fear. There's a lot of people who really don't know what to do, don't really know how much to do. So that's why we're going to address all that tonight, okay? So let's go ahead and jump into the questions. And I know Stephanie, her child is in the hospital due to an infection. And I want to address to Stephanie that I know you did reach out to me, and I was asking you, what do you have at home? If you have the Virid, do you have vitamin C, garlic, whatever you have, give it to your child every 30 minutes, every hour. So that means you can give vitamin C, 4,000 milligrams every hour. I know it may seem like it's a lot, but vitamin C is water soluble. It's going to go right through you, and it's not going to kill you. It's just vitamin C. But you can take a lot of vitamin C. Now, if you notice a 99 temp coming on and you're trying to give 500 milligrams of vitamin C or 1,000, that does nothing. It does nothing. So we got to think in terms of chronic illness. If we're in a crisis, we're going to take one even flow every hour, right? Somebody who has cancer, okay, they're not just going to take one turmeric or one curcumin. You got to take a lot of it. They have to take like 12 curcumins a day, 12 ginger capsules a day. You have to take a lot of it in a chronic state. So, Stephanie, what you could have done was giving one full dropper of Virid every hour. You could have given 4,000, 5,000 milligrams of vitamin C every hour. You could have given one oregano capsule every hour. I tend to be a bit extreme with my herbs because in the beginning, when I first started on this journey with my son with sickle cell, I first started out with chlorophyll only, and that's all I gave. After that year in the hospital, in and out, is when I first started doing research, and I started giving him chlorophyll, and 7 months went by, he didn't have a crisis. I was excited, but the 8th month came, and he had a crisis. So I had to think about it. I'm like, okay, if you're treating a chronic condition like sickle cell, you can't just give one single ingredient. So that's when I knew that, okay, I included 3 or 4 or more different herbs to that regimen, and then 3 years went by, he didn't have a crisis. So with Even Flow, we know that Even Flow has 11 herbs, enzymes, minerals, and vitamins all in one capsule. So it's a lot in there to mask the issue, what's going on. So that's for Stephanie. Jamie said, my husband is sick, likely the flu. Hope he didn't get the flu shot, Jamie. How should you protect your sickle cell child? You've been giving him Even Flow every 2 hours. Stop doing that. 100 milligrams of chlorophyll, 500 milligrams of vitamin C, and echinacea every morning. Okay, so again, when we're faced with an infection, you don't want to give even flow every 2 hours. We want to fight the infection. So instead of giving the even flow every 2 hours, you want to ramp up your vitamin C, and you want to start giving him like maybe 5,000 milligrams of vitamin C on a daily basis. So your son he hasn't caught anything yet, so he's not sick. Now for your husband, he can take the 6,000 milligrams of vitamin C every hour if he wants to get better. But as far as your child goes, Jamie, I would say right now, go ahead and give him the 5,000 milligrams of vitamin C every day. And actually, you can do it twice a day. He can take 10,000 in a day's period. So you can give him 5,000 in the morning, and that's 5 capsules of I think you may have the vitamin C, that's 1 capsule equals to 1,000 milligrams. So 5 capsules in the morning. When he comes home from school, you can give him 5 more capsules. And that'll be 10,000 for that day. And you can still give him the elderberry syrup. You can give him 3 tablespoons of that a day as well. And, I'm sorry, you didn't say elderberry, echinacea. And it's all the same. It's all natural antibiotics. So echinacea, golden seal, elderberry syrup, it's all the same. But whatever you have, Jamie, you have the echinacea, you have the chlorophyll, the vitamin C. Well, then just ramp those up. 10,000 milligrams of vitamin C daily. You can give him 3 to 4 full droppers of the echinacea a day. And you can do 2 servings of the chlorophyll daily. And this should protect his system and not get sick. Now, definitely stop the even flow every 2 hours. You can just give him 3 even flows a day. Okay. Someone asks, what kind of natural antibiotics do I recommend for a 4-year-old? And I would say Virid, and I'll show you guys if you have not seen it. This is the Virid by Healing Blends Global. And actually, 4-month-old babies can start taking Virid. But for a 4-year-old, definitely Virid, vitamin C, elderberry syrup, and probiotics. I want to tell everybody to take probiotics because I think all of our kids at some point has gotten antibiotics. I mean, it seems that it seems that they give antibiotics out like candy. So everybody who's listening tonight, even the parents, need to start taking a probiotic to get the gut back healthy. Because another important thing, if your gut is unhealthy, then no matter the nutrients that you try to eat, the supplements that you try to take, if you have an unhealthy gut, the supplements may not absorb as well in your body and do what they're supposed to do. So it's very, very important to fix the gut health. All right, Gracie, does even flow come in different flavors? I'm dealing with sickle cell, and I drink Boost. And 50 milligrams of Demerol every 3 to 4 hours as needed for pain. Okay, Gracie. No, even flow does not come in different flavors. It comes in capsules, which this is the bottle, and you can get the capsules, or it comes in liquid. I haven't had the liquid. I had it a long, long time ago. I don't remember what it tastes like. But there's no different flavors for even flow, either capsules or liquid. Let me just talk about Boost for a second. All these drinks like Boost and Ensure and all these drinks that, we are thinking that's healthy is not. These drinks are very high content of sugars. It's derived from milk protein, which is not healthy. That's not healthy for our guts. Milk is, I'm not talking about raw milk, but milk that you would go to your grocery store and buy out of the store is not healthy because of the way they process it. And you're going to hear me say they, meaning the food industry people, because they fast produce things these days, and because of that, it makes us sick. For examples, they're pumping the chickens up with chemicals and steroids just to get them to grow faster. And then what do? We end up eating these steroids and chemicals and all these things, and then we end up later in life getting sick. So milk builds up inflammation, and it builds up mucus inside the body. So that's another thing that why these drinks are not healthy. And it has canola oil, and this is genetically modified product. Now, it was first created in the 1970s, the 70s in Canada, but starting in 1995, Monsanto created a GMO version of canola oil. Now, it is extremely not healthy. There's hydrochloride inside of the boost. There's peroxidine, hydrochloride, and there's tons and tons of synthetic sulfates. So it's best if you invest your money in a great plant-based food supplement that's non-dairy, non-GMO, and soy-free. Now, the pain meds. Let me just talk about pain meds for a second. Now, I know that you cannot stop narcotics cold turkey, but understand, Gracie, the more you continue to take pain meds, your body is not going to fully, wholly, holistically heal the way that it should. And I know, I get it. I've had crises myself. I know the pain. I know it hurts. But you're going to have to get to a point where you can actually come off of all the narcotics, all of the Western medication. Now, like I say, I don't know what else you're taking. Depending on what you're taking, you don't want to just stop cold turkey, because you can really feel the side effects and the withdrawals of all of it, especially coming off of narcotics. But just know in the back of your mind that the more we continue to put toxins and chemicals in our body, the more that we're going to continue to suffer, if that makes sense. You know, we can't continue to dump things in our body that's not meant to be in our body and think that we're going to actually feel better. We have to get to a point where we're detoxing all of these things out of our body. Once we detox, then we can start this holistic living and only putting natural herbs inside of our bodies. Now, I know there are some people who are still taking hydroxyurea, still taking even flow along with hydroxyurea. But again, I still have to say that hydroxyurea is a cancer medication. There's no way around it. There's no way to look at it in a positive way. Taking a cancer medication long term has been known with hydroxyurea to cause horrible side effects. Please know that you can have sickle cell disease and you can live a normal, productive life without taking hydroxyurea. You just have to get over that fear. You know, I know that it's a fear, it's a scare tactic. I don't take my son to get checkups anymore, so I don't have to deal with any of that. I understand how going to the doctor, it can be very fear, because they'll tell you this is what you need to do. You know, we look at doctors as kings. We look at them as the know-all, the you know, they know everything, and that's the way that we were programmed to believe. And I get it. I believe that as well. But we have to come to a point when we have to search for the truth ourselves. You know, these are our kids. They're innocent. They can't fend for themselves. Like, my son was having crises all the time, and I'm going to the doctor every 2 months, and we're going through this a whole year and nothing. So at some point, I had to stand up and say, okay, thank you for your service, doctors, but I'm going to try something different now. And if you look at a lot of the kids today, this is their life. They're in and out of the hospital all the time. And at some point, we have to stand up and just say, no more. I'm going to start doing something, you know, to help my child. Because if not, who knows where your child could end up down the line, continuing to have crises. So let's see, Harriet, which natural antibiotics do I use for my kids? Okay, so I have, of course, the Virid. I also have garlic capsules. I have colostrum. Now we know that colostrum is the first drips or droppings when a mother delivers a baby before they breastfeed. The clear colostrum that comes out of the breast sets the immune system. But they sell colostrum in the store, and this is also amazing as well. I have oil of oregano. We know that oregano is, we cook with it, we season our food with it. I have that, and I do have vitamin C. This is Mega Food. I have had the capsules before as well. This is powder. And here is the probiotics that I actually give my kids. Now, I don't always buy the same probiotics, but as long as they're at least 30 billion, then I will get that. And sometimes I give this 90 billion to my kids, depending on what's going on. Like if they have the stomach flu or stomach virus or something going on with the gut, I'll give them 1 ginger capsule every hour and give them a probiotic every hour as well. And something that we probably don't think of is D3. Now, I give my kids about 10,000 IUs of D3 every single day because being African American, we do not absorb D3 from the sun. So we don't get it because we have melanin in our skin. And that actually blocks us from getting sun. So D3 is not really a vitamin, it's really a hormone that our body naturally makes. A Caucasian person can go in the sun for 15 minutes and they can absorb all the D3 up to 30,000, 40,000 IUs in 15 minutes. But for African Americans, we do not absorb the D from the sun. So a lot of African Americans find themselves extremely deficient in D3, and that can be very dangerous because it leads to 17 different types of cancers, and it also leads to heart disease as well, and many other chronic conditions. But D3 is great to build the bones, and it's also great for the immune system also. So, Harriet, that's a few of the things that I give my kids. I mean, I also have some elderberry syrup. I have had golden seal echinacea, but these are just a few. Whenever they do get sick, I tend to go using maybe like 2 to 3 different natural antibiotics. Okay, what's the difference between probiotics and natural antibiotics? And I think I kind of hit on that before. So the probiotics, again, that's going to be the good bacteria that's in your gut, and it's going to keep your gut healthy, strengthen the gut. And natural antibiotics, what I just showed you, that's going to be more strengthening your immune system, keeping infections at bay, fighting away infections and all of that. So that's the difference with that. Okay, India, she said 2 capsules of Even Flow for a 9-year-old during the cold temperatures. And yeah, that's fine. If you want to give 3 or 4, you can do that as well. You know, there's I think whenever we do move to Seattle, I normally give 8 and 1 Even Flow a day. Some days I skip, some days I forget. But his maintenance dose is 1 capsule of Even Flow a day. So I may end up, when we first move, because it's going to be a shock to his body, so I'll probably give him about 3 daily to start off with. But India, just know that there's no really magic number, but just know that when it is extreme situations, whether it's colder weather, whether if your child is swimming, playing sports, flying in an airplane, just know that you do have to give more. So the 2 is perfectly fine. Just see how he does. If he does fine with 2, then you don't have to change it. If he tells you next week that his hand is hurting, well then you will know, okay, first of all, go ahead and start the 1 capsule every hour to knock that crisis out. And then you may have to go to 3 a day, okay? Or you can do 2 Even Flows a day and 2 doses of chlorophyll a day. So, you know, just kind of play it out and see how he does with it and measure from there. But there's no right or wrong. If you want to do 2, that's fine. 3, that's fine. 4, that's okay as well. But you don't want to run through your product so quick and have to reorder so fast. Okay, nosebleeds and sickle cell. Someone asked the question about their grandchild is having nosebleeds. Would that be sickle cell related? Now, I'm not sure what medications the child is taking, but if I had to take my guess at it, I would say what's going on now is extremely dry weather. A lot of allergies are surfing now. I know my daughter has allergies really, really bad, and her nose bleeds often as well. So I would just kind of say it's probably related to dry air, the dry climate, and heated indoors. The air can irritate and dry out the nasal quickly. So even common colds can also irritate the lining of the nose as well. I don't think it would be sickle cell related though. But just some tips to kind of help with that. You can always keep saline spray, or like what I do with my kids, I get the coconut oil and I just kind of put it on my finger and rub it around their nose, and also go inside their nostrils as well, and it keeps it moisturized inside of there. Humidifiers at night is also good as well. Okay, natural antibiotics for toddlers and babies. Okay, so we know that babies, and when I say babies, I guess I'm speaking of 4-month-old, 5-month-old, 6-month-olds. So we really don't want to give babies herbs so young, okay? And that's why we always tell people who are pregnant, who want to breastfeed, do not take even flow until your baby is 4 months old, because infants as young as 4 months old can take even flow. And that's when we tell the mothers that they can start breastfeeding once the baby is 4 months old. So I would have to say the Virid is safe for babies that are 4 months old. And the only other thing that I would say 4 months, 5 months is colostrum. That's also good, and also probiotics. And vitamin C. Vitamin C would be okay as well. But once you get into past 6 months and a year old, well, let me just say, once you get to a year old, then you can start doing all the other, they have child or kids echinacea. Of course, you still have the Virid that you can do as well. You can do the elderberry syrup. Of course, the probiotics, the colostrum. So these are some things that toddlers and babies can take for natural antibiotics. Okay, can I give my daughter, 15 months old, raw garlic daily? Yes, you can. So just make sure you chop it up finely for her, or, you know, if she's okay with eating garlic, because it's a very, very strong taste, you could just put some raw honey on top and just let her chew it that way. The honey cuts down that strong taste. Also, you can take a couple cloves and put in some room temperature water and let that sit for 4 hours, and she can sip on that water. You can add some raw honey to that to make it, make it taste a little better. But yeah, you definitely can give your 15-month-old raw garlic. And you know, we don't think about other cultures like Indian culture, Nigerian culture. I work with a lady from Nigeria, and I mean, she's giving her 2-year-old now the hot Nigerian food. You know, their food is so spicy. But it's interesting. He's actually getting used to it. And let's see. I think that was the last of my questions. So thank you all so much for joining. I wanted to just really hit on how to really take care of our kids during this season. I don't want you guys to be afraid to give more of the supplements. You know, in the morning times, you should see what my kids take. They take about 10 supplements. You know, I give them 3 colostrums. I give them 2 garlics. I give them 2 oreganos. I give them 1 dropper of Virid. You know, just want to make sure that their system stays strong. And I want to tell you that before Christmas, both my sons did get a fever. My first son with SC, he came home with, I think his temp got to maybe 101.5, and it took me about 2 days to kill that. Then, as soon as I got him better, my sickle cell child started coughing really, really bad, and then he got a fever, and his got up to 103. So, again, I just started. Of course, I kept a cool rag on his head, and I put him in a lukewarm bathtub to kind of bring his temp down. But I consistently, over and over, if I have to stay up all night, then that's what I do. I wake up every hour all night. But I was giving Aiden 5,000 milligrams of vitamin C every hour. I was giving him 1 oregano every hour, 1 garlic capsule every hour, and I was giving him 1 full dropper of the Virid every hour as well. So I did this ongoing, and Aiden's actually temperature broke the very next day. So just wanted to share some tips, and if you guys have any comments, you can definitely leave the comments there, and I will answer them as I get a moment to. But thank you so much for joining tonight, and I hope that you have learned something, and for better health for ourselves and for our kids. So thank you all so much, and have a blessed night.